during the course of those 2 years, I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And on the 3rd time when I got out, my husband said at 36 years, we're getting a divorce. And where did I go? To the casino, because you don't have to worry about anything when you walk in there till you lose more money. After I got through probation, I did it again. This time I was in a lot of trouble. I had to get a different attorney, and I did. He sat and listened to the lies the first time. The second time, he slammed his fist on his desk and he said, you have a gambling problem. If you don't get help, you're going to jail.
What's up everyone, Cam here, and today I'm excited to introduce you to my friend Donna. Donna is this amazing woman I met last October when I came to Hartford for a speaking engagement. And being back in Hartford again the last few days, I decided to put together an opportunity to share Donna's story. Donna's a former gambling addict who went through a lot of difficulties because of it in her life, and I'll let her share her own story. But I'm excited to share her story with you today, and I really hope that you get something out of it.
When did you start gambling?
I started, I'm trying to think, well over 20 some odd years ago. Well over that, because I used to go to the church bingos. And again, you don't think that that's gambling because it was a night out with the other mothers away from the kids. And it's a church bingo. And if you won, you were lucky. And if you didn't, well, you donated to the church, so it was okay. And then the lottery came in, and I'd play the house number. And it was only once a day for 5 days. And that wasn't bad. But then the casinos came, and that was my downfall, were the casinos.
What was it about the casinos?
Well, it took me a long time to try to figure that all out. But I was always the caregiver at home, because John worked 24/7. And we had 4 kids. And whatever they needed got taken care of. Whatever my parents needed got taken care of. Whatever his parents needed, I was there. And all of a sudden, my kids were gone. Our parents were gone. He was working all the time. So, a friend took me to the casino and for my birthday, and it was nice. We had fun. But I got to like it really a lot. And I kept going. And again, in the mind of a slot player, the more money you put into the machine, it's got to hit, right? Because you look at all the money you put in there. Well, I learned a few years ago when the Hartford Current put together a cross-section of what's inside a slot machine: 3 wheels, a motor, and a chip. And when that chip is ready to hit, is when you win. So you can put all the money you want in there. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I ran out of money, and I had played this machine, and I knew it was going to hit because I put all that money in. So my friend that had taken me there on my birthday was going on vacation and asked if I watched her house, and I really can honestly say I had no intentions of doing anything wrong, but I borrowed 3 checks and 3 deposit slips of hers, because I was going to win and put that money back. Even though I knew I surmised she wouldn't have been happy with it, but I was going to put the money back. Well, it didn't happen. And about a week later, no, more than a week, 3 weeks later, there was a knock at the door on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock, and there were 3 police officers there. And because we were well known in the town, I knew the police officers. I said, come on in. I didn't know why they were there. And they asked me if I knew anything about the checks. And again, when you're in action, you lie, and I lied well. And I said, no, don't know anything about those checks. Well, they had pictures of me cashing the checks. And I was lucky because I ended up in the psych unit at one of the local hospitals that night, and my family faced the town next day because I hit the Hartford Current. And once I got out of the hospital, I turned myself in, and I was processed and started the court dates once a month for a year. And I would always hear the judge say to these people that had other addictions, drug and alcohol, you need to get into that program, you need to get into this program in order to get through probation. But when my case came up, nobody knew about gambling. No one said anything about it. I was lucky because I was a first-time offender. I got AR, accelerated rehabilitation, 2 years probation. And during the course of those 2 years, I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And on the 3rd time when I got out, my husband said at 36 years, we're getting a divorce. And where did I go? To the casino, because you don't have to worry about anything when you walk in there. Till you lose more money. But I did get through the 2 years of probation. But I didn't do so good, because the very next day after I did it, after I got through probation, I did it again. This time I was in a lot of trouble. I had to get a different attorney, and I did. He sat and listened to the lies the first time. The second time, he slammed his fist on his desk and he said, you have a gambling problem. If you don't get help, you're going to jail. So I got into the Better Choice program. I didn't like it. I was resistant only because I thought I was always in control of my life, but something else was in control. I was out of control. I met a woman there, and after we'd go to the group, we'd go to the casino, play anywhere from 24 to 48 hours straight. And the really sad thing is I had a big win, and that was the kiss of death. I won $27,500 on the slot machine. And when they paid me out, the gaming commissioner said, we're going to get this all back. And I said to him, no, I'm all done. I'm never coming back here again. I'm finished. And the next day, there was a knock at my door. And there was a limousine driver there to take me back to the casino. But again, I could have said no, but I won. You know, people make choices and there's consequences for those choices that we make. But I got through. I was lucky. When I went to court, this judge either knew about the addiction or I had an extremely good lawyer, because I did not go to jail, but I was given 5 years probation, and I worked hard at that probation, and I got through it. I got through the program, and for 20 some odd years I haven't gambled. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some days that I want to gamble, because some days I do. But I can't be where I was before. Because to tell you the truth, if I continued the path that I was on before, I would either be incarcerated or dead. No question in my mind. That's where I was going. And when people get caught, some people think it's terrible. It's not terrible. It's a relief that you don't have to lie anymore. You don't have to tell any more stories. And the pressure's off. No matter what the consequences are. And that's it.
Since recovering from her gambling addiction, Donna has made it a mission to be able to help as many people who were in a similar position to her as possible. And she does that through a lot of advocacy work and any way that she can be able to spread more awareness. So I took the opportunity to ask her why she does what she does, why it's important to her, and this is what she had to say.
The husband went the day there to meet up because he was going with her. She never showed up. No one knew where she was, so I started to look for her, and she was on her mother and father's grave and committed suicide. So they had a jumper at Foxwoods 3 weeks ago today.
From gambling.
Yep. Jumped up. And the sad thing is, I mean, it's always sad, but the really sad thing is he called his family before he did it and said he was going to do it, and by the time they found him, he had already done it. It's so sad. Well, I got a lot of negative feedback, and I thought, no, I have to do this because people have to know that this happens to normal people. So a woman called the Helpline. She said, I read about this lady in the paper. She said, I'm not like that lady. She really had an issue, and she went on and on. She didn't know it was me. She wasn't really a good person. And I said, oh. So we talked a little bit more, and I said, well, the paper's talking to you right now. "Oh my God," she said. "I can't believe it. I'm not like you." I said, "No, you're not, but you could be." When I was doing the Helpline, you never knew what happened to the people after you talked with them. So I was doing a big outreach program. It was a health fair in Hartford, the Women's Expo. And this lady comes up. She had a dog that she was in training for a service dog. So we started to talk, and she said, "I did have a problem," she said, "and I called this helpline for the state." I said, "Oh, yeah." And she said, "I talked with a lady, and Doris, or I don't know," she said her name began with a D. "And you know what? If it wasn't for that lady, she saved my life." And I said to her, "Was the lady's name Donna?" "That's who it was," I said, and I shook her hand and I said, "It's nice to meet you, I'm Donna." She hugged me, because you never hear about what happens to these people. So it was quite great to be able to meet somebody that you talk to on the phone.
Now, outside of doing advocacy work and raising awareness and participating in the Helpline, Donna also speaks at prisons. To have the courage to go into that sort of environment and share your message and really be able to serve in a bigger and more profound way, for me, is so inspiring. And I decided to ask her a few questions about her experience at the prison.
So when you speak at the prison, what's the main message that you have for them?
That there is hope, and that we are not bad people, that we've made some bad choices in our lives, and of course there's consequences for those choices, and not to give up. I had an issue with my son. He hadn't talked to me in 17 years. And I asked them that question, do you have family members that don't understand why you're here? And every hand goes up. And I said, look, don't ever give up hope, because it's the holiday that it will happen. And what happened with mine is that he was coming one Thanksgiving to my daughter's house, and I was all excited. And I said, what time's he coming? I'll be there. What do you want me to bring? And my daughters said to me, you're not welcome. Now, if I ever thought about gambling again, it would have been that weekend, because there was 3 days. They were really tough 3 days, but I didn't do it. And the following year, he was coming again, and I said to God, God, please, my plate's full. Give me a break. So I went to my daughter's house. I knocked at the door, and these two little kids came to the door. They were grandchildren I never saw. And they opened the door and said, Dad, your mom's here. And he came over and he said to me, Happy Thanksgiving, Mom, and hugged me. So you don't ever give up. I went home that night, and I talked to God occasionally, and I said to God, God, if this means that you're ready to take me, I'm ready to go, because we now have gone full circle. But I woke up the next day and I said, thank you, God, I got more work to do. Tell the guys in prison, and even the women, we're always told what we do wrong. We're never told what we do right. And that's really not a good thing to do. So when I talk with the guys and the women, I always say to them, look, you need to compliment somebody about something good that they've done, because people like to hear that they've done something good. They're not always bad things that they do. This week we're going to talk about, I'm going to ask the boys if in their family lives had their parents told them that they loved them. Lots of times that doesn't happen. And I think it's important that people hear that. And it's not because their parents did not love them, because they did love them, but maybe their parents didn't know how to say they love them, and their parents before them didn't know how to say I love you. So one of the things they're going to have to do is say that to somebody in their family or whatever. And even though they don't get a response back, they're going to see how good they feel when they say that. Because it means a lot to people. And we don't say it often enough.
So I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting to know Donna and hearing more of her story. Whether you struggle with a gaming addiction, a gambling addiction, or anything else, even if it's not an addiction, I hope that there was something in there that you were able to take away. And I hope that that leaves you more in a position to go out there and make whatever impact you can in the world. It doesn't have to be making a YouTube channel or speaking in a prison or doing a helpline, but we can all do our little part. It can even be just random acts of kindness, being a bit friendlier to people in your life, just participating more in even your family, for instance, or just helping out more around the house. There's all sorts of different ways that we can make an impact. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'm excited to create more videos like this in the future to introduce you to other people's stories. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to comment, hit like, and subscribe. Any way that you're able to help us spread this message further, I really appreciate it, and I hope that you're having a great day, and we'll talk soon. Alright, peace.
Good night, Donna.
Thank you, honey.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Now the tub is here, and the toilet's here, and where you flush the toilet, it's almost against the wall. So I'm sitting in the tub cleaning up the toilet flushes. I'm thinking, oh, well, that's pretty strange. There's no one in here. So I immediately think to myself, it's time to get out of the tub. I get out of the tub. I go downstairs. The TV was on when I went up. The TV's off. Now the dog normally would come upstairs when I was up in the tub. The dog's not coming up. And it's shaking. I'm thinking, oh. So we go to bed. The next morning I get, the rollers are out of my hair, and usually I throw them in my container that I keep them in. They're in the container all lined up neatly. I thought, oh God, there must have been somebody. Somebody was there. Evidently, hopefully it was a friendly spirit, because that's all it did.